Hey guys, and welcome. In today's video, I wanted to put a bit of focus around one of the main characters in Cronos: The New Dawn, and that is the Warden. He plays such a pivotal role in the story that I feel like his and ND-3576's story needs a bit of light and a bit of an explanation around. Now, it can be quite unclear as to what happened during this game between these two characters, and unless you really look at all of the audio logs, read a load of the papers and the notes that are left around, it can be quite difficult to understand. So in this video I'm going to do my best to explain. Alongside that as well, in the second part of the video, giving you a brief overview of what we've seen in the story. So this is also from where the outbreak took place, when it took place, the different theories as to how the outbreak started, and things along those lines. So trying to explain as much as I can, maybe a kind of a story explained in a shorter format, but mostly going into the Warden's and ND-3576's story. I did a full story explained on the channel the other day, so if you guys want to go check that out, then be sure to go and do so. It's a long one that goes through the entirety of the story, so if that's up your street, then please do go check it out. But be sure to stick around on the channel because an ending explained is coming tomorrow for all 4 of the endings, I believe, including New Game Plus. So if you want to be able to see that, then of course subscribe to the channel and don't miss out. But without further ado, let's dive straight in.
Alert. Operating unit signal loss detected. Lazarus protocol engaged.
So the story begins with ND-3576 dropping into a reality where the change has already well and truly happened. This reality is doomed, with notes and audio logs left from the deceased individuals, telling a story of what life was like when the outbreak first started. You wake up as Traveler ND-3576, one of the many agents launched into the past by the Collective. Your mission sounds simple on paper: locate your predecessor ND-3500 and retrieve their essence. In theory, these essences preserve memories, personalities, even identity of those that were seen as important to the Collective, and carrying them forward into the New Dawn. These beings, known as Travelers, can safeguard the remnants of humanity post-outbreak. But here's the catch: ND-3576 isn't a blank slate. Without realizing it, you're already carrying the essence of Veronica, embedded deep inside your consciousness through earlier experiments. That explains the visions, the intrusive memories, and the sense that something is off in your head. You're not just you, you're a vessel for someone else. Later on into the game's story, you come across a character that looks just like you, one that goes by the name of the Warden, number ND-F077. The Warden initially greets you as this stable, grounded figure who maintains your base and helps you survive. He's quiet, he's patient, and feels almost fatherly at first, but over time, cracks start to show. That's because the Warden is actually someone named the Pathfinder, the original traveler who discovered how to open these rifts, and these are the rifts that we see throughout the game, that we enter to essentially extract our targets and their essence. He's been at this longer than anyone, and he's the reason you have access to time travel at all. Here is also a dark truth: he hasn't been serving the Collective out of duty like you thought that you were. He's been bending the missions around his own bias and obsession, and that was Veronica. This is where it all ties together. The Lazarus Protocol was the Pathfinder's desperate attempt to bring Veronica back to life. She was someone he couldn't let go of. Lover, partner, maybe even his anchor to humanity. He devised a way to embed her essence into travelers, hoping one of them would take and Veronica could live again. Hundreds of failed attempts. Travelers burnt out, corrupted, and collapsed under strain. ND-3576 is the first one to awaken properly, but without Veronica's memory. That's why the Warden has been watching over you so carefully. He's not just your ally, he's guarding his final chance to resurrect Veronica. And this is where the tragedy of the story hits the hardest. Every time a traveler fails, the Pathfinder resets the cycle. He manipulates, launches, blocks other missions, and ensures that his obsession takes priority over everything else, even humanity's survival. ND-3576's journey, then, is less about saving the world and more about untangling the truth. You're not just a traveller sent by the Collective, you're the product of one man's obsession, carrying the weight of countless failed attempts on his shoulders. The loop isn't just about the change ravaging the world, it's about the Pathfinder himself endlessly repeating the same mistakes because he can't let go of Veronica. By the time you face the Warden towards the end of the game, you understand the full scope. The change may be inevitable, repeating through cycles of time and different realities, but you, ND-3576, are also a cycle. You are a traveller who exists only because the Pathfinder refused to let go. The Lazarus Protocol ties your identity to Veronica's essence, making your journey personal, tragic and cosmic all at once. And that's why the ending feels so heavy here. No matter which truth about the change you accept, you're always confronting the Pathfinder's failure, his refusal to accept loss, and the way the obsession doomed countless travellers before you. So in the end, the story of ND-3576 isn't just about surviving the change, it's about realising that you were never just a soldier in the collective's mission, you were the last, desperate gamble of a man who couldn't stop looping through his grief. The story itself kicks off in the early 1980s, in this industrial complex called the Steelworks. That's where everything starts to go wrong. In December 1981, a drilling crew decides to dig way deeper than anyone should have. We're talking up to 14 kilometers into the earth. They were supposed to be mining for something, but instead, they broke into something ancient. Then, a massive explosion took place. People made it out of the tunnels alive, but they were never the same. First, it looked like some form of sickness with high fevers, hallucinations, and paranoia, but then it got worse. They become aggressive, violent, and eventually twist into these horrific creatures the game calls orphans. And that's the moment. That's the first confirmed outbreak of what everyone calls the change. Now, what's brilliant about Cronos is that it doesn't just hand you a clean answer about the change itself. Instead, you hear competing stories and you get to essentially go with which one you think is more accurate. One character in particular, Edvard, is convinced it was all down to the government, shady experiments gone wrong. Then you've got the character Arta, who blames the travellers, people like us, the Warden specifically, who can step through time. He thinks the change is tied to us, like maybe we carried it between eras or accidentally unleashed it. And finally there's Dr. Zybert, who's more of a scientist and his theory is more scientific. He believes that the infection's always been there, buried underneath the earth, dormant until the drill had woken it up. So you're left with these three theories: man-made disaster, time loop meddling, or ancient plague, and none of them are ever outright confirmed. The one thing everyone agrees on though, is that the Steelworks blast was ground zero, and that's where everything started. Now, depending on how you play through the game and your choices throughout the story, the endings point towards different truths. Follow Edward's path and it feels like a government cover-up story. Follow Arta's past and it's all about the paradox of travellers causing the very thing they're trying to stop. However, stick with the Zybert's angle and it's pure cosmic horror. Humanity dug too deep, found something they should have left alone, and doomed themselves. Here's where it gets really interesting though. The game frames all of these endings as parts of some form of loop. It's not that one of these endings in particular is canon as such, and the others are false. Instead, every loop of time plays out with a slightly different cause, but the result is always the same. The world falls, the change spreads, and the cycle resets. And that's the real horror of this game. It's not just about pinning down the neat explanation, it's about realizing that no matter what, the change is inevitable, no matter what the ending is. Human greed, time itself, or some ancient plague, the outcome never changes. And that is what I love about the story of Cronos the New Dawn. So at the end of the day, Cronos doesn't really want us to find one neat answer, because that's potentially what a sequel, a threequel, or even a prequel could be there to explain in the future. It wants us to currently sit with the mystery, to theorize about it and spread the word across things like YouTube videos, blogs and Reddit posts. The change isn't just a virus or a curse, it's something that's always going to come back. No matter what choice is made throughout the story, no matter which ending we land on, the loop resets, the world falls, and the change spreads again. And that's the scariest part of this game, and what I'm most looking forward to in the next game, which hopefully will release in the near future. But guys, of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think of this game? And what do you think of this video? Leave your comments down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are brand new as well. We'll have more videos coming on this game if you guys want them. Do let me know. We can do a few theories on how we think the outbreak happened, or whatever you guys want. But thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a rest of your day. Speak to you all next time.